But the thing that I like about the Eagles, their situation is that Tampa Bay is leaking oil. They're not healthy.
We were supposed to get Gary in the second hour, but he's found time for us now. And he joins us here, Fox 29's Garry Cobb. And I got to tell you something, guys. I know that we're going to look at this past game, this past Saturday, and go, okay, so the Eagles ended up playing a lot of 2s and 3s, but here we are, playoff week here. I mean, was it the right decision, Gary, in your opinion, for the Eagles to have sat all of the starters this past Saturday?
You know, I wanted them to let Jalen get healthy. You know, I wanted them to get rested. I'd never seen it done in this level. And I hope it is. I hope it is. But, you know, I can't say that I disagree with them because Jason Kelce is a veteran player. I know he probably needed a break. But everybody, I mean, thing is, they had guys out there on the field I never even heard. I'm going, who are some of these kids? Well, did they get kids off the street? You know, but I know they had, you know, a lot of kids because of the practice squad. Because, in fact, I was over there at one of the games. Before the game, I'm out there doing some TV stuff. And there's a team out here practicing. The practice squad. Everybody had all these practice squad guys. So every team had 40, 50 extra guys. And that's who played that game. That wasn't like backups and everything. No. And the thing was, the guys that were out there, you could see they were playing coverages that obviously they never worked on. Because there were people open all over the place. You know, it's a shame, you know, when you get down there in the goal line and you got guys that wide open, I'm going like, they shouldn't even give Dak credit for touchdown passes.
I'll tell you what, though, Gary, they still did run the ball for 150 yards. If I'm the Cowboys, don't you come away with that going like this? And now you got a matchup with the 49ers, and you just gave up 150 yards to dudes that you were talking to me that could have been working at the airport later on that night. And here we are. You ran 150 on them. I don't know if I'm Dallas. I'm going like this. Hey, man, that ain't a good look.
You know, you make a very good point because they were running like it was, you know, the regular first team offense and big holes and it, you know, and I'm going, if Dallas can't beat these guys, you know, and they struggled in the first half. It was 17-17. I'm going like, if they can't beat these guys, because I don't know a lot of these kids. I mean, I don't know. Who? Going like, who's number 40? You know, whatever. Where did these kids come? Where they get, you know that they're kids on the practice squad. And most of these kids, if they walked up to me, I wouldn't even know them. So, you know, it's the type of thing where that's the first time I've ever seen anything like that. But they were all there because of COVID and everything. And they had every team in the league had a whole team of guys to play. And that's who played that game. That was not the same team that's been playing through the season, because most of these kids, like I said, I never even ever met a lot of those kids. So
absolutely, Gary. I mean, I was like, okay, so they're going to play their 2s and 3s. Gary, a game like this week for Jalen Hurts, though, and I was just telling people this. You know that when you and I come out of college, there's always in the scouting department a tag that's put on you. For you always, I think the thing that always had that lumberyard on your shoulder, not a chip, but a lumberyard, is because you were a later round draft guy. That made you a 10-year plus veteran, because that drove you. And you know this, there's always, well, he's a late round guy, you know. Yeah, but he's a 10-year guy. Okay, so, you know, this week, Jalen Hurts has a chance to go against the GOAT, change that narrative that he couldn't win the big game at Alabama. He's got so much this week. I'm not saying pressure, but people could look at him differently come Sunday night if he puts in a great performance and the Eagles put a great performance against the Buccaneers. Don't you think?
Without a doubt. This is such a game for him. And, he's been able to continue to improve. That's the thing we see with Jalen. And that's what that you're probably going to see for years. He's always going to be getting better and better because he twisted his ankle. And in a way, it might have been a good thing because it slowed him down from taking off. He's staying in the pocket, looking downfield, got his head downfield. And I know he's working on it, but I think that he kind of progressed as a pocket passer because twisted that ankle, couldn't run as much. So now he's focused on, look, I got to be in this pocket. I got to operate from the pocket. And he really did an excellent job in the last game, when they were beating Washington, because he had guys right in his face and he's standing there and delivering that ball. And that's what you do as a big-time quarterback. And really that is what, he's got to be able to do. But now he's going to have that ankle fresh. And I saw Tampa, they were getting gassed by Carolina. So this is not the same Tampa team that won last year. And they don't run the ball like they did last year. See, they're a passing team now. And this is not the same squad that won it last year. So I think the Eagles could really, they're going to have some things happen. But they're going to make it a very close game because they're going to run the ball on them. I think they're going to have success running the ball on them. And once you have that happen, then, you're eating up the clock. I mean, you can't score on offense if you're sitting over on the bench and the other team is out there. And I think that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to put Tom over there, have him play as little as possible. And they're going to try to eat up that clock. And they just got to, when they get down in the red zone, they got to be effective there. They got to execute, put the ball in the end zone. And once they start doing that, this is going to be a tough game for Tampa Bay because they're just not playing their top ball. They've lost some quality people, and then some of the injuries have been to some of their better people.
How about this?
They're
Gary?
not the same team they were earlier in the year.
How about this, Gary? Do you think it comes down to this? The front four of the Eagles versus the offensive line of the Buccaneers, and who can cover Gronk? Because Gronkowski now 7 catches over 130. You're starting to see him starting to get into playoff mode there. You know that he's going to be an essential part, especially on the seam. Brady's a slot and seam passer. He's not really a deep guy. Do they have the personnel, you think, to be able to slow that offense? Because, like you said, Gary, they're not as effective, and Fournette's a little banged up coming into the postseason this year. He was healthy going in last year because they got him, I think, a little bit into the season when he got cut by Jacksonville. So it's a whole different unit. They're banged up now because of the amount of time they played a year ago. You think those are the components for this Sunday? Oh yeah,
I think all those factors are going to play in, and they're going to have trouble with Gronk because he's a tough matchup. He's a tight end as big as he is, and the routes that he's running down the seam. You're going to have the safeties down there. There are not a lot of linebackers are going to be running with him down that seam. So he's going to be a tough matchup. And also Mike Evans, of course, with his height. And the Eagles don't have, a guy as big as he is to be matching up with him either. And, Tom is such an accurate passer. That's the thing about him is he is an accurate passer. So a lot of times with Mike Evans, I see him throw some passes to him when they're down in the red zone where my goodness, he's the only one can get to that ball because he throws it so high. And with Evans 6'5" and be able to have good athleticism and his jumping ability, he throws it up so high that the corner has no shot at that ball. And even if the corner's right there, he throws it anyway. So, but the thing that I like about the Eagles at their situation is that Tampa Bay is leaking oil. They're not healthy, and the two places where that could hurt them is with the Eagles running the ball on them, and then them being able to get pressure up the gut, because that's where Tom does not like that kind of pressure. If you got Javon Hargrave and Fletcher Cox, they got to put pressure up that gut, and that's what they'll jump in a 5-man front to try to force Tampa into one-on-one blocking, so they can't double Fletcher, and they'll try to get that pressure up the gut. But you got to get it. You got to get to Tom. You cannot let him back there patting that ball, or he's going to pick you apart.
How about this? How about this too, Gary? I mean,
yeah.
Only the 49ers since week 8 have a better record than the Eagles do. Eagles are 7-4 and over that time, and the 49ers are 8-3. And it's all been because of the way that Sirianni just went with what you said they had to do, was they had to have a come-to-Jesus conversation with the coaching staff and with the player personnel people and with everybody on being more of a bully-type football team. They've created a bully team. I say it's different than San Francisco, though, Gary, because you know this. San Francisco, their attack and running the ball is not built on their quarterback getting positive yards in the run game. He is a passing quarterback.
That's right.
So it's more on Jalen. So, again, that's why I think San Francisco may be more of a threat, because they don't rely on the quarterback to get positive yards with his legs. How do you see them, again, as they get ready for the postseason? Do you think they have their identity and know their identity right now? Situational play calling is going to be a factor in this game against Tom Brady. Like you said, you can't have three. The Eagles can't have 3 and outs in the passing game. They can afford 3 and outs in the run game, right? But they can't do it in the pass game. Stops the clock, field position, all that stuff.
Oh, you're right. I mean, you hit it on the head, because they've got to establish and play the game that has been winning for them. And that's what it is. But you get that running game going, and then you do some play action pass off of that. But the running game is your bread and butter. That's what you have gotten here on. And you got a week, you've been able to get your backs healthy. You want to have some healthy guys down there where they got that burst. They got that daylight. They're able to hit it and get that yardage, running hard. That's what they need to see, because if they get the running game going, then Tampa. I
think we've lost the audio there. Let's see if we can reconnect. But Gary's right on. He's right on with the fact that Tampa Bay is just not the same football team as a year ago. They're just not. There's more injuries. And I said this, and I know that Gary kind of was also going down that same line, was that Tampa Bay, because of the age on that football team, you're clearly seeing it this year. And with the amount of games that they played a year ago, it's taken its toll on the regular season on them, especially at the wideout positions and with their running backs. It's been an absolute factor in the fact that football team was not able to really stay healthy. I would say previously what people thought, bringing everybody back, let's roll it all back again. Well, the injuries on that football team were absolutely essential for them to try to repeat. I don't think they're the same team. I think that football team is going to have some issues. Make no mistake about it here. And like you said, Gary, and you were finishing up saying that just Tampa Bay just doesn't look like the same team from a year ago, because, again, age may be catching up a little bit with them. Yeah. And also the injuries, especially in the running game.
And, Tom, I love the way he's able to utilize a running game. That's really, really when he's at his best. When he's got that running game, man, he utilizes it so well, because he has no problem handing the ball off. He wants to mix it up. He will not just get one-dimensional. But they have almost had to, because of the injuries to their running backs and their inability to run the ball as effectively. But really, when he's at his best is when they're able to run the ball on you, because play action pass, man, he will cut you to shreds with that play action pass. And he's not impatient. And so many quarterbacks can learn so much from him. In fact, Jalen can learn this with, hey, take the 5. He has no problem taking 5 yards against you.
Right. You know what, Gary? Brady has no problem with the punt.
That's right.
And the throwaway.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Those
Yep.
are the two. I don't know why young quarterbacks struggle with the throwaway and the punt.
Yeah.
It's okay, man. You know, this is why you pay three different teams, special
That's right.
teams, offense, and defense. We're all professionals here, man.
Yep.
It really does come down to this, doesn't it? It comes down to patience, you know, and not losing your poison. I think that's where a lot of the young quarterbacks in this game, they end up having issues and they struggle. Like this kid Burrow looks like he's a patient guy, and I think that's why they're turning it around in Cincinnati is because he does have that poison patience there. That's a big key, especially when you're in a high-profile scenario like the playoffs.
Hey, Dan, you're talking about, you just were talking about Carson Wentz. Come on, Carson. There's nothing there. Why are you costing us this game? You're throwing the ball. The guy is covered. You can't throw that ball.
Gary, I watched him and I went like this. Oh my God, you had to win this game against a 2-win Jags team. Yeah. Now I see what everybody in Philly was talking about. Gary, you can't lose games like that, and you can't shit the bed like that too.
Come
like
on,
that.
you can't do that.
You can't do that.
You can't. Come on, man. You know, now all the other guys on the team, because really, the kid Jonathan Taylor carried that team, man.
He did.
So, hey, they show up. They put whoever. You know, I didn't really see the game, but I figured that they probably put a bunch of people in the box to stop this kid. Okay, so we can't get one game out of you where you need to carry us. You know, you're supposed to be a franchise quarterback. You can't help us. You don't show up. Come on. I was shocked. I mean, I was shocked to see you let Jacksonville boot you out of the playoffs
and dominated you.
Yeah,
dominated
wasn't even close.
You.
Wasn't even a close game.
It was never close. Hey, real quick here, Doug Peterson, best landing spot for him. I know that he wants to coach again. He's been saying he wants to coach again. You know, Shea Khan is a really rich owner down in Jacksonville.
Yeah,
Chicago job, obviously. The Raider job, my God almighty. I don't know if the special teams coach is not going to be named anyway. What a great job they did by getting into the postseason. Denver's now open. Minnesota, they fire Spielman and Mike Zimmer there. What do you think? Where you think he may want to look at where would give him, you know this, if you don't have a quarterback, you can't win.
Yeah, well, you know, there are a number of places there that you mentioned, you know, like, you know, they got quite a few players up in Minnesota. I mean, you know, they haven't been able to get by Green Bay. But you know, they've been winning up there for a while. They just need,
and they got a hell of a running back in Dalvin Cook there.
That's right.
Right? They got running back.
They have some good defensive players. You know, they've got you know, some good wideouts. Both of their wideouts. They got wideouts right now. You can win with those wideouts they have. So that's a place if somebody wants to try to win now. They want to win this next year. So I could see there, you know, Chicago's going to be you know, you got to develop the kid. You know, you got a quarterback you got to develop.
Justin Fields.
So you got to develop him. Let's see some of the other places.
Denver.
You name.
Denver.
Denver, you know, I hear the talk about Russell Wilson going there, you know, because it happened before where they had, you know, Peyton Manning come in there and they won. Because they got a pretty good defense. They just got to get that play at that quarterback position. So I could see.
How about Miami now?
Yeah, you know, I don't know what are they going to do in Miami? Are they going to stay with Tua?
But see, here's the thing with this, Gary. Like you said, hey man, Miami sounds great when Don Shula was running the team. I mean, now you've got people that are firing a good coach. And Brian Flores and Stephen Ross is looking to change out these coaches. Now, get this, they're in the coaching business now, changing out the Tony Spiranos, the Joe Philbins. They're on this carousel now. If you're Doug Peterson, do you want to go through something like that again?
You don't want to be in a situation like that. So I don't know that he I don't know that he's going to have that option to be able to, you know, say yes or no on those. But you don't want to go in a situation like that where you got an owner that's got the quick hand. You got people that are able to, you know, get you out of there right away. Because, you know, it does take a number of years. You know, if you go to the right place, 2-3 years, you can get the job done. So I know that Jacksonville, I don't know about, the owner, but you got to have the people that they got to be able to draft well. See, you got to be able to acquire the talent. And of course, you got a young quarterback there. So I guess Jacksonville will probably be a place that might be a good place to go because you got
because you have total control.
Develop that quarterback.
And you have total control, you would probably think, right? They'd get rid of Trent Baalke, the GM.
That's right.
And he would have more say because, to me, that Raider job, even with Mark Davis as the owner, you got Derek Carr there, man. I mean,
yeah,
they did some remarkable things, but I have an issue with ownership. If the ownership is not strong from the top down, Gary, I'm sure he doesn't want to have to go through another Howie Roseman and another owner scenario where you have to kiss their ass and make them part of your process every Sunday.
Yeah, you would like to go in and if you don't get it from the start, then you wind up where you win a Super Bowl and you still, basically they don't even let you in the front office almost. I mean, come on, what is going on? You don't have anything to say about the players, and you win a Super Bowl. But he probably is going to try to refrain from going in that type of situation again. But I think that the Eagles have given some of the other owners ideas. So now all of them are down there meddling. So you look up and you're down there on the field. You look over there. Wait a minute, Mr. Such, what are you doing down here? You don't need the owner down there, man. You need to let him get a good GM. And keep his nose out of it. I think that's what I see as the most successful way. But when you get an owner down there meddling, I don't know that that's the best way to do it.
Absolutely. Gary, thank you so much, brother. It's going to be a very interesting week. Buccaneers and Eagles. It's going to be great to watch this football game on Sunday. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate it.
All right. We'll see if they can shock the world.
That's right, man. Let's go shock the world, man. Let's do it. Let's shock the world. Do me a favor. Hit the like button. We'll expand on what some of the things that Gary said. Listen, he said, you got to run the ball, man. And you have got to do the number one thing to Tom Brady that he underscored. You know what that was? We'll go back and talk a little bit about it. Keep it right here on the National Football Show.